Hi guys, I have a moment before this house becomes an energetic mess again, so I decided to make a quick video before I'm not able to anymore. So I just finished a run, so I kind of look rough. I've been testing running with my dog recently, and it's been a bit of a mm, moment of readjustment, let's say. It's it's a nice idea because it's been taking me so long to um, so much of the day to walk him properly and then do my workout. It's just there was not much left to do other things, and also I was very tired. So I think it only makes sense, but I have quite a nervous dog, so he's not he very much has a mind of his own, and he wants to sniff everything. So it's a bit of a challenge, but we're getting there. It's not impossible, so that makes me happy because it's like one more thing that I can do with my dog. mm, and I've been quite drained generally. It's been a very strange month. I wanted to make these videos of kind of like just saying what's going on, really, because I like sharing, and also people ask me what's what's been going on, and it's nice to have also for me the sort of summary. I've noticed that when I look back, things really have a certain flavor to them. It's like every month is like a chapter in a book, and they have a certain theme that rules this month, and I find it very interesting to kind of chase it, to trace it back, and I think it also helps reframing a lot of things in a way where things don't seem as mundane. They all make sense, and um, they take part of the story. So then you can, once you're aware of it, I suppose you can manipulate that, and you can reframe things in a way that is constructive. I found that to be quite an interesting uh, change of perspective. Once you become aware, I was mentioning of becoming aware of rhythms of the day, and sunrise and sunset, and kind of living with this awareness. So the same way for me, it works on a weekly and monthly basis. I try to be more and more aware. Um, I think another thing was to be, um, one could take it for granted that as someone who's into magic and all sorts of things like that, that I would be just aware of what phase of moon are we in, or never mind all the astrological changes, because that's I'm quite new to this, actually, to be um, receptive to that in a conscious manner. So I always found astrology to be a very very well, it's very meticulous, very nerdy kind of science. So I I shied away from it, and now only I begin to make sense from some things, and that also helps. Well, it's just one more thing that of course it's uh, what's the word, indispensable. It's come on, help me. um, in magical workings, but it's more or less. Oh, what's this? Is that a heron? I've been in love with herons recently, and there is one that lives in a pond. Smooth change of subject when I'm in lack of words. That's one of my tricks from my bag of tricks. Yeah, I have been. I've noticed there's a heron living. I don't even know if I pronounce it correctly, but bear with me. The bird. He's been living in a pond nearby, and I don't know. I'm just so drawn to these birds. I think they're amazing. And yeah, I was talking about the astrological changes and the rhythms of the day and rhythms of the month and the story, which kind of unfolds. I think that's the also case in astrology anyway. It's just on a more, in a bigger scale, in a more celestial scale. So all these things, I've always I've noticed that I think one of the things that were blocking me in a certain way was lack of rhythm, and this is something that I try to work on to be more aware of this rhythm within myself and in the outside world, and work with it. I think that's like basics of magic, really, to be aware of that, to be tuned into that. But it's not. I think it's not obvious. I think a lot of people take it for granted, and the truth is that a lot of us into magic are not always living by it, and not mentioning that a lot of people who are interested in the occult or esotericism, they're not necessarily living a magical life, so to speak. They're not driven by a certain, what I always call, sense of wonder, which I think is very important, and it's kind of easy to forget as well when we concentrate on either studying or getting what we want, or effectiveness of certain operations. I think it's easy to forget, to zoom out a little bit and see if we are even capable of still maintaining this this sense of wonder, this sort of a childlike, fresh look on the world. I think it's very important, and so I'm trying to balance these things within myself, and with this in mind, I was recently not feeling great. Something's off, and I can't quite put finger on it. And I've noticed that. Well, I'm currently in a less than ideal situation in my household. Let's put it this way, and I think that suboptimal, as my friend would say. And I think it's been rubbing off on me a little bit, in conjunction with some magical works that I've been doing. I think this is also quite interesting. I think every time I think there's like an army of resistance within me that rises when I start doing what I'm actually supposed to be doing, rather than procrastinating. So I think it's interesting how that works. These are some kind of inner demons that tend to wake up and and like trying to go back to what we were, like resisting change, and going back to the comfortable misery. And so I think it might be some of these things, because I was complaining that I couldn't. I think it's been gradually, from a very, very distinct point, it's been getting a bit worse. And of course, I'm looking also into, just basic things like health, diet, and things like that. But yeah, I've noticed that I had this lack of dreams, despite actively working with them, and usually being able to remember my dreams, and the more I consciously work with them. They just tend to arise, and I have no problem with that, and I'm very excited to go to sleep, because I know that I'll wake up with some new input, and I'm just fascinated by that. So I think for 2 weeks, and I said that I've been waking up very early as well. So that was also that become a problem all of a sudden, these two things. So I wasn't, I've been kind of waking up in a terrible mood, not really rested, not really sleeping too long, no dreams. It's just like a complete waste of time and even counterproductive, really. Like what's that? What's the point of this, So I think it's been like 2 weeks I've been struggling, and I've mentioned that I had a dream in which I was writing my dream down, and then I forgot half of it, and then I had other notes that I forgot I took, and I didn't process them. So of course, all I was left with was like this obscure notes that made no sense, and someone also suggested that full moon coming, speaking of, all these rhythms, I don't tend to, I feel very good with full moon. I really, it's hard to explain. I sometimes mention that I'm quite energized. I'm quite connected with different things within me, and I like this moment. I'm not going crazy. I'm not disturbed by this. I'm quite receptive and positive when to full moon's energy. So so all that's why it's even more annoying, because it's this time that I would like to feel, and I kind of feel numb and flat, and it's not even completely like exhausted or depleted, or it's just something's wrong. I can't quite explain it. I feel a bit poisoned. I feel a bit like my vision is blurry. I feel unfamiliar, and that's strange, and that's why I'm also saying that perhaps it's not just stress, although a lot of things can be assigned to stress, although sometimes it feels just too easy, because who of us isn't stressed these days? and also I've been just always quite a I lived a interesting life, and there's been always something going on that could cause me stress. So it just seems like a shortcut a little bit, like my family would always say, like, oh, it's the weather. It's the weather, everything's the weather, without really questioning further. So yeah, I'm just thinking how funny how a lot of things could have gotten lost this way. Also the way I would share very strange feelings within me, and they would be very easily dismissed because it's the weather, So now I'm thinking about that as well. Three more threads, three more tabs open in my mind straight away. But what was my point? That I'm feeling weird. Oh yeah, so I'll be feeling like that, and trying to get my dreams back, and just hoping to wake up finally in a different mood, and being also feeling quite lonely, and for all sorts of reasons, and also I was wondering whether the kind of work I've been doing perhaps been affecting me as well, in form of this resistance. And also, how do you know if you start feeling the way you've never felt before? What does it feel like? How can you be prepared for that? What it's going to feel like? How will you know that it's happening? If somebody told you that you can be a different person, how would that different person feel? So that's been on my mind recently, as well, as I was walking in the woods. And today, well, so today I went to bed early, thinking, okay, that's it, fine, you want to sleep? Let's sleep, let's get some rest. And of course I didn't get any rest. And I woke up and I had the worst nightmare ever. And I'm not even sure if I want to share it, because it's been so upsetting. And I woke up crying, which is always interesting when that happens, when this world kind of overflows. So I thought, like, wow, well, at least I remember my dreams. But it was very upsetting, so it did not help my mood at all. And then I went back to bed and had like a, not continuation, but just some very strange and very distinct dreams that were happening around my school. And it's one of those places, like home, school, that keep popping up in my dreams. I don't know if you have that as well. And have you ever cried after a dream, like through the dream? Have you ever started crying in a dream and woke up crying for real? I find it just so interesting. So yeah, let's see what tonight's gonna bring. The full moon night. I'm still grateful for that, even though it was not pleasant. I prefer to remember and have something to work with. So yeah. Until next time.